God, I wish somebody would have told me when I was younger that all bodies aren't the same. Photoshop itty bitty models on magazine covers told me I was overweight. I stopped eating. What a bummer. Can't have carbs in a hot girl summer. If I could go back and tell myself when I was younger, I'd say, psst. I know Victoria's Secret. Girl, you wouldn't believe. She's an old man who lives in Ohio, making money off of girls like me, cashing in on body issues, selling skin and bones with big boobs. I know Victoria's Secret. She was made up by a dude. Victoria was made up by a dude. Victoria was made up by a dude.
What is good? Wanted to run that song a little bit more, but for those that know. These are the realities. And if anybody knows who that dude was, you get the joke. So starting with this, because I think somebody wanted to talk about Mehdi Hassan at some point. And yeah, this is how I feel about those Jubilees.
Hello, my name is Jake. I am a living human being who is currently alive. My first claim is that I don't think I should be murdered. Hello. Hello. Okay, I'm gonna talk really fast in order to make a half-baked point and just hope you don't call me out on it. Does it really matter if I kill you? Secondly, hold on.
Please don't interrupt me.
I have a family. Do you have a family?
Answer the question.
Yes. It matters if you murder me.
To you?
Yes.
But to anyone else?
My mother would be disappointed.
That's exactly my point. Would anyone else?
You're moving the goalposts.
For me, it would feel really good to kill you. Like, amazing.
Let me get this straight. You believe that you have a better right.
I'm saying it would feel good.
So you're all fine with this logic that we can just say and do whatever we want?
No.
Because last I checked, we live in a society and not a Blumhouse Purge movie.
No, hey.
And clearly I'm making a pretty good point because everyone's trying to vote you out before I get to the end of my point, which is I've been voted out. Shoot, I was actually really close to getting to the end of my point. Right
It's been a pleasure.
My second claim is,
Can we
please
ever
don't
truly
kill
be
me.
saved from
Please,
Gibbs?
oh God, please, please, please.
Whoa.
You got here fast.
Yeah, well, I really want to kill you.
I can tell.
First off, I believe in respect. I show respect to everyone, no matter who you are. I believe we're better as a society when we respect one another.
No, I appreciate that.
Here's why I'm going to kill you.
Is that a threat?
It is just a statement.
Where do you find these people, man?
I'm just stating things, and you're being really divisive.
Okay.
Your car is parked, 30 yards from the door over here. Do you really think you can outrun all 20 of us and get to your car in time? I mean, one of us is gonna kill you. I mean, if not me, one of these other people.
No, we're not arguing if it will happen. We're arguing if it should happen.
I think so.
Please don't kill me. I have so much to live
All
for.
appeals
It's
to
actually
emotion.
illegal as well, and
Hey,
I'm
what's
calling
good,
the cops
Zephyr?
right
Pretty
now.
short,
I got voted out.
Shoot, I was really
Give or
close to
take an
calling
hour.
them too.
Nice chatting.
Cheers. My final claim is no, please help me, this is a trap.
Hello.
I actually agree with your earlier point that you do have a lot to live for. You have a wife, you have kids.
Thank you. Yes.
I just don't care.
Okay.
I'm still gonna kill you.
What about the
I mean, it
2019
being illegal
NASA
is
research
never a good
paper that
argument to
claims
begin with.
99.9% of people don't want to be murdered?
Okay, what about the research that says I don't care?
You got
What are your
attacked by
sources for that?
Sky.
I don't even, well, pal, it sounds like
Yeah,
you're
I'm
forfeiting
shocked.
your argument.
Okay, but it doesn't matter because we're all gonna kill you.
Okay, yeah, really solid argument. Well, I was really impressed with the skill of some of these debaters.
It doesn't seem like he was
whatever
ready
you
for
think of
this
their
debate.
arguments, I think that they have a lot of passion, they have a lot of drive, and I hope we were able to find some common ground. Hello? Is this part of the video or the exit strategy? Anyone? Hello?
So yeah, that is how these debates work on Jubilee, because I'll be damned if anybody's opinion is going to be changed.
Well, howdy there, internet people. It's Beth.
Oh, wait, Marines leaving LA. We already know how that goes. Let's go back to the previous video.
Hello, my name is...
I mean, did he really change any of their minds in the process of that? I really can't say they did. So, can I say that his opinion was in any way respected at the end of that? And that's kind of where I wanted to get to with the Mehdi Hassan thing that Zephyr wanted to speak about, which I really just find it to be a matter of fact situation. You bring in a bunch of alt-right people, like I want to say a good 50% of the people in that crowd were Groypers and part of Nick Fuentes' community. There's nothing you can do to convince them that what they want isn't the correct answer. And they will, like, they have opposing views. So, like, you got one dude that doesn't like Jews and another person that doesn't like Muslims, but because they don't like these people and there's a means to get these people out of the country, they're both going to join forces and agree tacitly to not care about the other portions that they should be caring about. I mean, if the viewers weren't already convinced, I also don't see how you're going to convince them either. For the people that agree with the people that were saying the things to Mehdi like, yo, we want you out of the country, I don't think you're going to be able to convince that person. Just being real. Who hates America? Definitely not me, but a lot of those people definitely hate America in the current way that it works. Some of these people want it to be an autocracy. Some of these people want it to be a theocracy or some measure of both. They don't like America as it is. So for them to even think that their opinion is nearly as valid as people that actually love America, they should be the ones leaving to go to countries that function in the way that they want this country to function, and then installing the people that work for that for them. And in particular, I want to laugh about the dude that lost his job. If he actually lost his job. I hear he was a contractor. But this Connor dude, who the second he doxed himself, I found it to already be off to a great start. Bringing up Yahtzee philosophers that nobody but people that like those kind of people would even know about to begin with. And I'm supposed to feel bad about this dude getting cooked. The fact that this dude didn't have enough skill and self-preservation not to say shit that's going to make him lose his ability to provide for himself sounds like a skill issue. Yeah, what's good, Doc? The dude quit. Yeah, this dude quit. Good stuff. I'm really tired of hearing from people that have crazy ass views like, hey, bro, why don't we have free speech? Why can't we just have freedom of speech? Motherfucker, I keep saying freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. You can say whatever the heck you want. The good thing is, in this country, you probably won't get arrested for it unless it's terrorist threats. But people may not want to employ you or have you help them lose money by keeping you employed. If you're willing to accept that sacrifice to say whatever dumb thing or whatever silly opinion you have, then I hope your opinion was worth you losing your job or whatever it is that you lose in the process. That's not a me problem, that's a you problem. I mean, it'd be like that, Nair. It'd be like that. Oh, I don't really feel like you helped create the problem, but at the same time, why is my stream so wide? Because my monitor's really wide and my head's really wide. Everything's wide except for my voice on this mic that only gets one particular volume. Agree that that video should be more. Why? Well, okay. So a lot of people feel like that video should probably be demonetized for the most part because Jubilee decided to stack the deck with a bunch of fascists for the most part. I don't know what better way to say it. And they could have gotten, you know, some different views from less extreme thinkers that could have been like a good listen, but like, no, Jubilee has a habit of doing this. Greg Gutfeld wants to learn from the blacks and reclaim the word.
Not see this, not see that.
I wish I did not see this.
This is why the criticism doesn't matter to us when you call us.
No, it
Nazis.
matters, or else you wouldn't be
Not see
crying
this,
about it.
Not see that. You know, I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's what up, my Nazi? Hey, what up, my Nazi?
Do it.
Hey, what's hanging,
Do
my
it.
Nazi?
My goblet of alt-right
Nazi,
tears is
please.
not full enough. I'm still thirsty.
Thank God you did
Do
a
it.
hard eye there.
This ignoramus. Oh yeah, this happened. The arguments around that word, like people not understanding how the community has used the word, has had the word used against them. I I don't get it. He channeled his ancestral rage to say the blacks. Oh, when you have to add a the, it just makes it all the more special. So is anybody actually surprised that Trump's name appears in the Epstein files? It's not like he hung out with the dude for the better part of a decade. It's not like, more than likely, as Michael Wolff said, the first time he slept with his now current wife was on the Lolita Express. It's not that they partied all the time, partied all the time, partied all the time. He just shouldn't be on the list. Like, I don't see how he appears there. It doesn't make any sense. This should be shocking to no one. If it's shocking to you, like I said to Zephyr earlier, I got a bridge to sell you. Don't listen to us. It's mesmerizing how he uses his hands to keep people looking at everything but exactly what he did. He's trying to throw Obama under the bus. He's trying to throw Pam Bondi. He will throw literally anyone under the bus he can to get away from this. The bridge is exactly as big as you need it to be, and I guarantee you it is the best bridge made of the finest structuring and crafting that you've ever seen in your life. It will get you everywhere you need to go. And it is signed by your favorite person. I mean, you can understand why they didn't hammer it away sooner, because they wanted to use it to attack people they don't like. But then when the dog finally catches the car and they have to actually figure out what to do with the car, they had no plan beyond question mark, profit, but the profit didn't make the thing go away. So what are you going to do at that point? The news didn't want to talk about it, because if you don't have anything to produce, all you can do is just sit there and be like, how come they're not releasing the files? Hey, when are they going to release the files? For how long are they going to do that? Like, there's nothing to it. Like, for most of these things, like, I appreciate the idea that we can bring up like Epstein, we can bring up Diddy, we can bring up whatever, but until there's like some new development, and in this case, they locked away Ghislaine and just moved on because there was nothing else to see here until they said there was something to see here. Then all of a sudden it became a thing again. Got a new phone I'm powering up for the first time. As you said, Samsung, I opened my phone. $19K for a new Samsung, or yeah. Elron signed the bridge beautifully, engraved in platinum. I mean, it's a steal. You'd be losing money not to buy the bridge from me. Ike Rich, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Yeah, all these things, like, if we don't see what's happening in America as these people just run rampant all over the place in different directions, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're sitting here watching what we actually want America to be slip out from under us at breakneck speed. And this is an odd one, Rich. I'm doing call-ins and actually not really watching anything and being goofy. So, laughing about the news and the Mehdi Hassan 1 verse 25 when they just decided to find a bunch of fascists to bring on for whatever reason they decided. Like, who was doing the wrangling for this show? Did they just have, well, yeah, exactly. Just me being me. Like, did they just get Nick Fuentes' booking agent, like, hey, how many people can you get us for this real quick? And just bring all these people on, no vetting. They had a Middle Eastern dandy on there talking about how much he dislikes Muslims. And you get another dude on there that's like got issues with the Jews and bringing up, you know, people from the Reich that tell him that the leopards aren't going to eat his face too. I don't understand how it works. Terrible for the GOP. I mean, was it really? It showed like a level of solidarity amongst people that have vastly differing opinions, but still able to work together because their goal is fuck everybody else. This is a lot of the reason why I used to bring a lot of people on, is because when you talk to somebody in the GOP or a conservative, whatever they want to call themselves, I still haven't figured this out since I had that panel a while back. They will tell you when you bring up something that you don't like about their ideology, and they'll say, nobody on our side thinks that. And then you get a room full of these jackasses pulling up to say it with their full chest and laugh about it and clap for each other until they lose their job. Maybe we were wrong about the fascists. Maybe they just had a lot less charisma than we thought they did in the first place. Or which part did you think you were wrong about? Like, I'm interested. Well, they constantly gaslight into thinking we're being hyperbolic and we're like bringing up fringe cases when they're the ones bringing up fringe cases to attack us over and saying, well, how come you're not decreeing this? How come you're not, you know, decreeing that? Like, I don't get why we have to apologize for everything, and they literally apologize for nothing. And this is something that's been said. This is why I get pissed off with Wick for doing what he does. That wasn't real fascism. Like, it's because they don't have power. These are just jackasses bringing out their opinions and wanting fascism. So of course they are fascists. Like, I don't think we're going to be able to bring Mussolini onto a debate panel anytime soon. Like, we need more identifiable fascists. Yeah, that's the other thing, getting gaslit about, oh, that word doesn't hurt us, we're going to take the word back. By all freaking means. You know it hurts you because you're here crying about it. We wouldn't hear a peep out of you. Like, nobody's crying about using the word conservative or Republican until it's a word that hurts you. Then all of a sudden we got an issue. Yeah, and then we got, oh, so if anybody was wondering why I played that song earlier, this chick, I don't know how she got away with it, but this is brilliant writing. She brought up that Victoria's Secret was made up by an old man that lives in Ohio. This is a name you don't hear anybody saying in the news right now, unfortunately. When people wonder, where did Jeffrey Epstein get his money from? Leslie Wexler is the name you want to be looking for, but this is a name that nobody's going to bring up. And I think it's why, when Trump was giving his speech about why we shouldn't be paying attention to this, the dude directly to the right of him was laughing his ass off because this dude has a house right next to him. Oh, let's bring up something fun. Let's see.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to talk really fast in order to make a half.
Let's get to this one.
So it's been
Broken
reported
clocks,
repeatedly
people.
that there's a guy called Les Wexner, owner of the biggest house in Ohio. Who is Wexner and what is his relationship to Epstein? And before you begin, because I want people to keep this in mind as they're listening, as far as I know, and I think this is correct, Wexner, who I believe is still alive, has never been interviewed by the Department of Justice. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's correct as far as I know. So Les Wexner, he owns limited brands, L brands. So Victoria's Secret he owns, Abercrombie and Fitch, a lot of the places that you see when you go into the mall. I don't think it's the case anymore, but for a long time, he was the largest clothing manufacturer and distributor in the United States. Billionaire, incredibly wealthy guy. As you said, owns the largest and most expensive house in the state of Ohio, where he lives in Columbus. And the second largest and most expensive house in the state of Ohio was owned by Jeffrey Epstein and was directly behind Wexner's house.
What?
Yeah.
So it's been...
There you go. Every now and again, Tucker is a useful idiot. And this is one of those times he's actually pretty useful. What's this you got for me? Russia sat on intel of Hillary Clinton's alleged heavy tranquilizer use. New docs... Are you serious? Like, why do I care? She was taking heavy tranquilizers while... So Russia allegedly had intelligence suggesting that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was taking heavy tranks, which former Barack Obama found to be extraordinarily alarming. So it wasn't just the email server, it's that she was high while using the email server. Well, that makes sense. That's completely illegal. It should feel funny, Doc, because I don't want to, but this is like an open secret. People know about Leslie Wexner. This is not something that nobody knows about. This chick actually was able to sing about it like it was normal things. This dude exists. He's been around for a really long time, but nobody talks to him. Nobody's interviewing him. And literally, I think he was Epstein's only client. So like, or at least his biggest client. So we can sit here and ignore it. I mean, that's fine. I'd rather not take away from the realities here.
A lot of people have heard of Victoria's Secret, but very few people have heard of the billionaire behind it, Les Wexner.
Les Wexner owns some of the most popular stores you've seen at the mall, but his ties to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have raised a lot of questions in recent years.
Just saying, Foul, but nobody's talking about this dude. We're sitting here talking all this good stuff, but like we're not going to get to the bottom of it. This dude may be the reason why they are
and
burying
welcome to this latest edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast.
I don't know why, but I will continue.
This new documentary has just come out on Hulu, and it looks
until
really
they
interesting.
actually release
Les
these
Wexner
documents.
is from Columbus, Ohio. He is a billionaire, and he owns a lot of big brands. He owns Victoria's Secret. He used to own The Limited, Abercrombie and Fitch, a lot of these stores that we've all done some shopping at over the years. And
he's
there
very
have
much
been a lot of
alive.
questions about him and Jeffrey Epstein. So joining me to talk about this is Sharina Anke-Kroll. She is a business attorney and a frequent guest on Law and Crime. So Sharina, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
You too. So this new documentary on Hulu is called Victoria's Secret, Angels and Demons. And it looks really at the downfall of Victoria's Secret. It's still at the mall. You know, I walk past it all the time, but I can tell you, I never go in there. I don't know why. I just don't, it's just not appealing to me for some reason anymore. So what is the deal with Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein, and how could that have impacted that relationship he had with him? How could that have impacted his business?
Sure. So from my understanding, Jeffrey Epstein was very close with Wexler. Wexler allowed him to manage, from what I understand, a lot, if not all of his finances, and he gifted him a couple of houses, allowed Epstein to live within a mile of his estate. So a lot was going on. And what was really striking to me is that Wexler gave power of attorney to Jeffrey Epstein, which is very strange and very unusual because we don't really see that happening with anyone outside of someone's family. For example, it's someone usually that's very close to you. So that relationship, just by the fact, if we even ignore everything else, the fact that Wexler gave Epstein power of attorney is very questionable. We want to know more about what that relationship entailed, why that was done, just to see, what else was happening.
Jeffrey Epstein took a lot of secrets to the grave with him.
So I'm going to leave that at that. Let's see what we got. Jeff Epstein, international money man of mystery, terrific guy. Donald Trump booms from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. Yeah, this is more reasons why I am not shocked that he is in the files. He's pals with a passel of Nobel Prize winning scientists, CEOs like Leslie Wexner of the Limited, socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, even Donald Trump, but it wasn't until he flew Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker to Africa on his private Boeing 727 that the world began to wonder who he is. Whoopsie poopsie. Yes, secrets are a wonderful thing. And the fact that Trump is suing over this reveal from the Wall Street Journal, which is a pretty right-leaning source, like, they're eating their own. The Ouroboros is eating good right now. Well, yeah, Kevin Spacey did some horrible shit, but Kevin Spacey also came out recently like, hey, release the files, my G. Oh, never stops being funny. He comes with cash to burn, a fleet of airplanes, and a keen eye for the ladies. Nothing to say of a relentless brain that challenges Nobel Prize winning scientists across the country. I just screwed up horribly. Why did that have to happen? Oh no, I was just going to die anyway. That's fine. And for financial markets around the world, ever since the page 6 ran an item about the president's late September visit to Africa with Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker, now we got to question Chris Tucker on his new benefactor, customized 727. The question of the day has been, who in the world is Jeffrey Epstein? This is the question we're still asking to this very day. When was this written? This is from the archive. 2002. We are dead ass 23 years in the game and still asking this question. I mean, he got his Jackie Chan money and he dipped. Wise move on his part, because he gets to avoid ending up on the list. At least I hope. Because he was in Friday, and I really liked Friday. It's a life full of question marks. Epstein is said to run 15 billion for wealthy clients. Yet, aside from Limited founder Leslie Wexner, his client list is a closely held secret. A former Dalton math teacher, he maintains a peripatetic salon of brilliant scientists, yet possesses no bachelor's degree. For more than 10 years, he's been linked to Manhattan, London society figure Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of the mysteriously deceased media titan Robert Maxwell. Yet he lives the life of a bachelor, logging 600 hours a year in his various planes as he scours the world for investment opportunities. I ain't buying 1 ounce of that. He owns what is said to be Manhattan's largest private house, yet runs his business from a 100-acre private island in St. Thomas. Power on Wall Street has generally accrued to those who have made their open bids for it. Soros, Wasserstein, Kravis, Weil, the Sturm und Drang of the successes and failures that has played out in the public. Epstein breaks the mold. Most everyone on Wall Street has heard of him, but no one seems to know what the hell he's up to, which is the way he likes it. I wonder why. Jeez. Yeah, all this has been going on for the better part of 2 decades that we've known about. The figures involved, some of them we know pretty readily were involved, and a lot of them we don't know. And Fowl, are you going to say you're not happy suing Rupert Murdoch? I mean, he's only an enigma if you're not paying attention. The little bit of attention you pay, it kind of plays out and makes sense. But the real problem is a bunch of people pulled up and said, hey, we're going to release the list of the things that he did, and failed to produce that list. They actually said nothing happened and there's nothing to see. Oh, are you serious? They said this? That's crazy. I'm going to say they're probably on the list. Especially Dershowitz. I mean, he's still got Newsmax, right? And he's got his own little social media thing. So I think he'll be okay. Oh, I am so freaking dead. That is terrible. Yeah, none of this is surprising to me. And so for a lot of people that have been buying the narrative that they're putting down, like whoever that jackass was that Wick had on the other day, who was actively and in real time gaslighting us into believing that this is a big old nothing burger and that this is just another hoax and we're playing 5D chess. It's like, nah, you wouldn't be, yeah, Misfit Patriot, this jackass. Oh my goodness. I don't believe that dude is real. I don't know who would listen to this person and what flavor of Kool-Aid he's drinking, but it's got hallucinogens in it. And I don't want to taste. So the narrative we're being told to believe, and I think a lot of very strong Trump supporters that I'm around that just literally think the dude walks on water are going to be like, oh, this is a hoax created by the Democrats. So literally the Democrats said there was a list of Democrats and put that out to the media because looking like you're on a list like this is a good thing. I'm going to say this is a bad play. What you got for me, Nart?
Actually, there was supposed to be an Epstein joke here, but as it got deleted. Must have probably deleted itself, right? Probably never existed, actually. Let's move on as a country and ignore that.
These are the facts, and I hear we're also producing a new stealth aircraft, and it's completely covered in the Epstein files. No one will ever see it coming, as well as hiding your firearms from the ATF. You just wrap them in Epstein paper, and everything goes away. You got nothing to worry about. I'm fairly certain nobody would be talking about this if they weren't the ones that started talking about it in the first place. Fairly certain. Like, I know people would mention it, like you mentioned Diddy. People are going to mention Epstein. People are going to mention all these things. They're never going to get this pissed off about it, though. And I'm pretty sure people are still mad about Diddy getting off. Yeah, what did Shane Gillis get canceled for? I know his jokes are, like, pretty edgy, but I never really watched them. People just bring them to my attention. So where's this other one? Let me find it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
What do you believe in? Autocracy. I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white, and should stay that.
I think you can say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
My name is Connor, and I was recently shown in the latest Jubilee episode. As a result, unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. I'm raising money as an emergency fund and for other expenses while I look for a new job. Unfortunately, voicing fully legal traditional right-wing political views results in real consequences. This is cancel culture and political discrimination on full display.
As they have said before, too much haha can lead to boo-hoo. He was feeling real good in the moment, though. I'm going to say he was feeling free. Finally, he gets to speak his truth. And then he never was heard from again. Oh, I have so little sympathy for that dude. And virtually everybody else that quite possibly is fighting for their job right now. And if whatever he said was on the up and up, and, you know, at will hiring that is a pretty decent idea, was at fault for firing him, by all means, go ahead and sue the company that fired you. Want to kill people for the political beliefs firing you? For your political beliefs is fine in my book. Yeah, I agree with you. You need to start a company that only hires fascists. I was going to say you should go work for Nick. Like, honestly, go find somebody that wants to hire you that has the same beliefs you do. Then you'll never get fired for your beliefs. You'll be good. And we got Zephyr. What's going on, Zeke? You are muted, by the way.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Exactly, Myopic. It is the verbal equivalent of a face tattoo. If you don't have the self-preservation skills not to do things that are going to get you yeeted out of a job, that's a you problem. Go ahead, Zephyr.
I mean, I've made my position clear. I was on Wix chat before, and I was like, not only should this guy be fired because of his political beliefs, because he's just unfit to live in this society. I personally believe that Jubilee's video should be demonetized. I personally believe that the GoFundMe or whatever the fuck he started, that should be reported and canceled as well. And every single person who donated to him, keep that money. Whatever that website is, keep that money. He doesn't need that money, and the people who funded him definitely don't need that money either. So,
I mean, it's the company.
Is that too extreme?
Well, the company that did it is a Christian company that, you know, wants to propose unity amongst Americans or whatever with their platform, and a lot of people have gone after the banks that are distributing the money. So this has become an issue. Gifts and Go is ridiculous for even allowing shit like this to go down. But yeah, I agree. They should be able to.
Yeah, are you saying that Gifts and Go is that Christian? Is a Christian company that's?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Are you surprised?
I mean, yeah. To be honest, there shouldn't be anything surprising anymore, but there's still stuff that you find every day. Yeah, 30K. I mean, 30K. Yeah, he can probably get by in a year if he has his own place, whatever. Then rest in piss. But the issue is now he's going to go on the podcasting circuit. And that's why I'm so adamant that any video that he appears on should be demonetized. I'm not saying that I don't want him on any videos. I'm just saying if he is appearing, then that should be out of principle, not out of money.
Yeah, you only got to
right. If you're principled enough that if you're principled enough about free speech, or if you're just another fascist who wants to platform him, go for it. I'm not against that. I don't want you to make any money out of it. I want it to be about principle, not about profit.
I know I completely agree with you. Like, stand on business. Like, I think the joke that's going around lately is that all these fascists all of a sudden turn to socialism as soon as they lose their jobs.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I lost my my way of life. You
Lying
guys, please give me money.
And the way he also frames it, fired for my political beliefs. Yeah, what are your political beliefs? Why don't you expand upon that?
Yeah, if your political beliefs are that we should be able to kick puppies, I don't think it's going to be very well received.
Yeah. Like, fired from political beliefs. I'm not saying, by the way, that, because he's a fascist, no, he literally said that I will be the part of the group that won't get killed under my system. Implying that there will be a group that will be killed under his system. So he is threatening people. It's not that, because he's a fascist, he needs to be deplatformed. I'd like it to be the sort of threshold, but no, he went above a fascist and literally said that people who aren't, who he deems to be quote unquote unfit, he wants to kill them.
What is good, Testy? I can't sing. This is a terrible thing, but
what?
Here you go. Gibson Go is an American Christian crowdfunding website launched in 2015 as an alternative to GoFundMe. The site engages in limited content moderation, citing freedom of speech. Identified as an alt-tech platform, Gibson Go has attracted controversy for allowing far-right extremists and hate groups to fundraise. This is who's doing it. So, I mean, are you?
Sounds to me that it's not about just that one particular subject. It sounds to me that this whole website should be banned.
I agree.
I mean, can you imagine? Yeah. By the way, can you imagine if somebody went that, hey, I want to raise money for like a BDS campaign or some shit? I don't know if that'll be allowed, but I can see that being canceled. Like, I can see some websites pulling out of it. Right? Which, to a certain degree, like, if the person turns out to be like an extreme far leftist who is like actually anti-Semitic and whatnot, I would on some level kind of agree. Okay, yeah, maybe this person should not be able to raise money for his cause. But yeah, apparently all these far right people who are like, I'm probably going on a tangent. Sorry. Okay.
No, dude.
That the issue with cancel culture, we are seeing its implications right now. That right-wing people have created their own ecosystem, like their own Patreon, their own GoFundMe, their own YouTube, their own Twitch, all of this shit, their own Twitter. And yeah, they've become isolated from the rest of the world, and all these ideas will fester. So this is the result of the sort of cancel culture. I disagree that it was just consequence culture. I do think that there is a cancel culture that happened a decade ago.
Sort of.
And these are the consequences.
I don't think there really was cancel culture. Like, we say it, and yeah, people were
okay. So here's the thing.
Shamed.
The problem is, okay, there is a consequence culture. Sure, a consequence for everything, right? What is a proportionate response? What's a proportionate consequence? You can't treat, like, I follow YouTubers, bro, and they were scared for their life. They were making vlogs and like, okay, I say vlogs, like it wasn't travel vlog. They were sitting in their home and just saying, and like literally going through their Twitter, and it was genuinely scary. How many people were basically just DMing them like, oh, I found shit on you. Oh, this tweet from 5 years ago, is that you? And all that. Like, I've seen how, like, the pressure that someone who was in that zone felt. Yeah, so I can completely understand.
And like borderline terrorism. I don't agree with doxing.
No, not doxing, but saying like, is this your tweet from 5 years ago? I'm going to send my Discord group after you and report this tweet, and you're going to get canceled from this platform.
Yes, that other portion of it. Like, you can get canceled. Like, even if they canceled you from a platform, if your views weren't so horrendous or whatever you did wasn't so bad, people, as long as you keep on speaking, showing up, whatever, are going to eventually see, oh, well, maybe what he did wasn't that bad. And they'll usually be fine. Like, people try to do it with Dave Chappelle. People try to do it with multiple different people and get them removed from platforms or make them lose money. And in the end, like, the greater sentiment was whatever they did wasn't that bad. and we moved on.
The problem, Leethi. Okay, so this is the issue, right? Because if you get canceled from one platform, you do get canceled from multiple platforms. There was a stage. It was like 2015, 16, probably, or even around 2018. There was a point where if you got canceled from Facebook, you would get canceled from Twitter and YouTube and every place else. If you got canceled on Twitter, you would get canceled from YouTube and Twitter and every place else. Like, there was an ecosystem, right? Again, I'm not saying it's the Twitter files, but there definitely was some kind of communication, maybe indirect, between the group, like the moderation groups of all these large big tech companies. Or they were simply seeing, oh, if this guy got banned from Facebook and our moderation policy is roughly similar, maybe we should ban him too. Yeah, so I'm saying, like, there were unintended consequences for cancellation culture. And this is also, if you want to call it consequence culture, this is consequence culture. Give, send, go is consequence culture as well.
I guess you can look at it that way. I just see, like, what is this dude, Dean Withers or whatever, like, trying to call CPS on this dude because he was shitty in an argument. I think that's insanity. And I think they're the ones that should be, quote unquote, canceled when they're doing dumb shit like that. Like, you shouldn't be coming after people in that way. Like, unless, like, people are literally attacking people on the street and you're like, who is this person? We need to call the cops on this person. I don't think we should be brigading and mobilizing against people. I think that's insanity.
Yeah. Thing is, unfortunately, we learned it too late. Like, some people saw signs of it and condemned it. But a lot of these people who are on Twitter, like people who like literally never touched grass, just want to stay home, like want their moment in the sunlight, and they feel like blackmailing someone or threatening someone. That's going to be their sort of their moment. Like, yeah, they did not realize it. People around them did not realize it.
So, like,
I don't know what the solution is.
A phenomena that I can say is pretty similar to it is like the PDF hunters. If you know what I'm talking about. These people that, you know, claim that they're going out and like hunting for PDFs and like exposing people. Like, literally, they're just stroking their own egos and virtue signaling. And it's bullshit. So, like, these people are people that you should be listening to.
If you were working under the paradigm of the law, you would have some evidence. And if you're not a police officer, I don't think you have the right. You may have the right to collect more evidence, but you don't have the right to like go through their stuff, search their, like, I guess, go do an investigation by yourself. But yeah. Like, if you have some kind of evidence, I guess I have a little bit more sympathy for you. But, like, just using some badly worded tweet from, like, 5 years ago, from 7 years ago. Dude, it's still going on, by the way. Like, I go into, like, soccer groups and all that. And there's this presenter who made some tweets, some pro-Israel tweets in 2011. 2011. 14 years ago. And they are using that to cancel her in 2025. And guess what? She has been canceled. She no longer appears on the channel that she used to.
I mean, she, much like this Gifts and Go thing, should put out word to people that actually like their work and be like, hey, contact this platform if she still wants to be a part of that platform, and actually voice that you want me on there. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Like, you need to make sure you're supporting.
That's her choice.
Yeah.
The problem is the English aren't as forgiving as the Americans are, or as retarded. But you know,
I mean, what did she say?
That's the problem with British culture, is that you do weed out. Like, you're much more like, the consequences are harsher. But then if you get caught in the crossfire and I wouldn't call you innocent, but if you've learned from your mistakes, you still don't get a second chance. That's another consequence of having that strong, like,
I mean, what did she say?
Or if you
so ridiculous that she.
I don't even remember, bro. It was like because of like the Israel-Hamas war. Like, obviously people are like tensed up, and you read way more into it than what it actually was in 2011. Like, I'm sure there was some incident going on in 2011, and she said, like, yeah, kill all those scumbags or something. She probably didn't even clarify, like, if she meant like all Palestinians or just the people who committed the terrorist act or something. But yeah, that was still enough to get her off the platform.
Okay, well, she was calling out for like literal violence and not being very clear on who the violence should be directed at. That was a oopsie on her part. I'm not gonna say.
Yep, it was 14 years ago. That's the main part. I'm not even saying that what she said was good or not. I think if you said something 14 years ago, I should at least give you a chance to explain yourself, right? You might still believe it, but you might have just learned to word it properly. That's still like something that, you know, is commendable. Like, oh, you might agree with what you said 11 years ago, but you at least learned to word it properly.
No, I fully agree with you. Like, it definitely should have been a, hey, you said this 14 years ago. What did you mean by this? Do you still feel the same way? Not just yeet people off the platform, but I can still understand, like, people having this brought to their attention for the first time, kind of overreacting to it. And literally, it's an overreaction.
No, people, it's not being brought to their attention the first time. People are digging through this shit. Who the fuck has the time to search through 11 years of tweets to find one thing that they could cancel their person on? And it's the weirdest thing, bro. Like, because it's soccer, it was Tottenham versus Manchester United in a Europa League final. Manchester United lost. And she's a Tottenham supporter, right? Like, they were the winning team. So Manchester United supporters dug through her Twitter and found that tweet. So, like, that's how anal this cancel culture is, and people don't realize it. That's why, like, I respect you, but when you play down cancel culture, it genuinely bothers me, because these are the consequences of playing down cancel culture.
Could it just be that soccer is a very hateful sport?
I mean, sure.
Oh my goodness. That pissed off over some soccer beef, that's pretty wild.
I mean, it came out the next day. It might be unrelated. It literally came out the next day after they won.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm still gonna say, like, I don't believe the cancel culture thing was as big of a reality as people wanted to make it out to be. But at the same time, people complaining about it and crying about it caused a backlash. Absolutely. Like, there's no doubt about it.
I'm sure there's, like, you know, someone gets canceled for, like, a genuinely bad thing, and they overblow it, like, oh, what I really meant was, like, I'm sure there's, like, playing it on both sides, you know. But yeah, from where I stand as an observer, I just feel that the sane leftist didn't condemn it enough.
Well, yeah, that's also another part of the problem. As much as I hate to say it, leftists' visceral reaction to certain things causes things to be blown out of proportion pretty often, and they think it's the entire Democrat and leftist together that are doing this thing, when really it's just a lot of vocal people flipping their shit over something that really isn't that serious.
It snowballs, man. Like, and again, I'm sure if we look at individual cases, we might be like, oh, this wasn't that bad. Oh, or maybe they actually deserved it. But yeah, when you look at the whole thing, and sometimes I think, like, we are guilty of that, is that we want to isolate every single thing, whereas conservatives tend to look at things in a broad cultural/social context, and they're able to create narratives that way. Whereas we try to create facts, or when I say create facts, like, look at facts, whereas they look at narratives.
That's exactly it, Moon. Condemn what? And that's literally what people seem to be looking for. What are we condemning right now? It's kind of bonkers. Like, what happened with Al Franken, I thought was fucking insanity. Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, it was the Democrat Party essentially. I don't know what action they took, but essentially condemned him at the very least, and, like, even threw him out of some, like, conventions or something.
Massive condemnation to the point where he resigned.
Yeah.
Over something that happened, like, what, 20, 30 years beforehand?
I disagree with that. Like I disagree with other cancellation stuff.
I mean, I just feel like they bent to pressure that wasn't even existent, and I don't think a lot of people were even paying attention to this. But it's
why do people bend to pressure so easily? Because of the fear of cancellation.
I think it's partially a good thing on the Democratic
side.
Sure,
partially, yeah.
But not necessarily. But like the fact that we're willing to hold our own accountable and actually like, hey, you know, are you gonna actually own up to the thing that you did and deal with the court of public opinion in that instance versus like expecting people to be okay with what you did or ignoring it or, you know, saying, what about everybody else for whatever you did? So like too much accountability on one side, not enough accountability on another side.
Again, I'm not saying that cancel culture is responsible for the current political climate that we're seeing where Republicans going apeshit crazy. I'm just saying like things like Give, Send, Go and these fascist neo-Nazis having a platform and people willing to platform them, invite them onto podcasts. That is a result of overcorrection from like moving away from cancel culture.
So what you're saying here, Zephyr, is that cancel culture being the reaction to shitty opinions of taking away platforms from them is causing them to have more platforms, and that's why cancel culture is bad, because it's not working, and in fact it's having the opposite effect. Is that what I'm hearing here?
Partially.
Because that's why I jumped in here, because I'm hearing some absolute wild shit.
Partially, I would agree with that. Like, I would say that Give, Send, Go, that is a consequence. Like, right-wingers are actually now creating alternate platforms, alternate ecosystems. They're creating Truth Social, Give, Send, Go, their own Facebook, their own Twitter, their own Patreon. All this shit as a consequence of cancel culture. And now they have become isolated, they're growing, and it's like, how do you stop that? How do you stop that now?
Okay, so the options were as follows. Either don't kick them off of all of the existing platforms and they continue to say all their shit on the existing platforms, or do kick them off the existing platforms and they go and create their own platforms that we can still see that aren't particularly insular. It's just they tend to segregate themselves in those spaces, and yet we can still see everything that they're doing and saying and all of that shit. So, like, your complaint
here's the thing.
Basically, the end result of your complaint is fucked if you do, fucked if you don't.
So, Ancom, has Twitter become more right-leaning or less right-leaning now?
More right-leaning? Why?
Okay, so even when you deplatform them, it still resulted in being more right-leaning. And if you don't platform them and remove them, you get alternative platforms that become more right-leaning. So yeah, it is damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like, exactly. What do you pick?
So
I'm okay. Wait.
Wait.
I haven't completed my thought yet. I am okay if someone actually, like an actual extremist, self-labeled fascist, like Connor from Surrounded, gets deplatformed. Actually, I want him to be deplatformed. But the problem is, in the modern era, even if he gets deplatformed, now he has these alternative far-right platforms where he can still make a living. Whereas had we pulled back the problem culture and had not been so aggressive with it, maybe we could have actually weeded out the really bad people instead of just anyone who's just remotely bad.
But the thing is, it was the fact that we got rid of the really bad people like Donald J. Trump that caused him to go and create something like Truth Social. And then it was the fact that another really bad person was able to just go and buy Twitter and turn it into a shitty place. So it's not as if cancel culture was the cause or even really the catalyst of this. It would have happened either way.
Yeah.
So you blaming an attempt... No, let me finish. You blaming an attempt to hold people accountable for what they say and what they do and to provide consequences for their actions. You saying that that's what's causing all of this doesn't make sense. Because,
I never
as
said
I'm
it's
saying...
causing all of this.
you are making that implication very strongly. Don't you?
I'm saying it's a significant factor. I'm saying it's a significant factor, but not the whole reason.
Okay, you've spent at least the last 5 minutes trying to intimate that cancel culture was the reason behind all of this shit that we're seeing about them creating these new platforms.
One of the reasons, yeah.
Okay, so had cancel culture not been a thing, chances are they would still be saying and doing exactly the shit that they're saying and doing. They just might be doing it on wider platforms that haven't become as insular. Which I'm like, if we're not gonna, if we're fucked if we do hold them accountable, and we're fucked if we don't hold them accountable, I'd rather try to hold them accountable than to just let them get away with shit, even if that does result in them opening up new platforms and becoming more insular and basically doing the cockroach tango. You like that? Yeah, you like that, did you, Lethy?
I really did.
You call them cockroaches. I see elephants all around now.
I mean,
cockroaches are, the whole thing is, when you shine a light on them, cockroaches go and hide under places. And yes, you can still go and look with your flashlight in those places, and you're going to see a congregation of cockroaches. But
here's the issue.
Cockroaches are not the majority of the population. Never have been.
Here's the issue.
They look more concentrated.
You're making it sound like every single person who got canceled or got harassed over tweets that were from 11 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, right? They were all justified. And I'm telling you,
I'm not suggesting they were all just. I see. That's where my contention is. I'm not saying they all were. I am saying the majority of them probably were. And I think that we tended.
I have seen YouTubers. I have seen YouTubers with less than. Hang on. I've seen YouTubers with less than 2,000 subscribers get harassed. They've done vlogs. They've shown their Twitter profiles having 30 DMs, all of them saying that I found this tweet from 4 years ago. I'm going to send my brigade after you. I found this tweet from 5 years ago. I'm going to dox you. Right?
Well,
when you're in that situation,
on the internet, you piss off.
You can't write this off. No. I'm sorry. It's less than 2,000 subscribers. Less than 2,000 subscribers. You piss off like 5 years ago from a tweet 5 years ago? Are you just refusing to acknowledge that there are autistic people whose entire life mission is to gain who have never touched grass, who have never sat outside, want one little second of fame, and they'll do literally anything for it? Like digging through tweets from 11 years ago? There are people who exist, and there are people who actually brigade people like that.
Yeah, and you're conflating people who go psycho and do shit like this with people who are actually trying to hold people accountable for what they say and do. There have always been crazy people on the internet. You can't lump them in with the people who are trying to keep others accountable by just saying cancel culture.
You literally can when they're actually successful at canceling the person, when they're actually successful at deplatforming them. You literally make them win by doing that.
Okay, but the thing about deplatforming, the thing about canceling is it was it is intended to go after the people with the most power, and it never seems to work against them.
Weapons are intended only to defend myself. And weapons are intended only for defense.
So, right? I don't quite understand the point that you're making.
Like, it doesn't matter what the intent is. The problem is what actually happened.
Okay, so you're doing the whole impact over intent. Fair enough. The thing is, like, you're blaming cancel culture for this when the sort of revenge posting that you're describing has existed long before the cancel culture movement ever even was thought of. Like, the idea of finding something that someone said and bringing it way out of way out of context and trying to slam them with it and getting them removed off the internet, like, I don't think that's ever actually worked on anyone. Show me someone who has been canceled and is no longer found anywhere on the internet today.
Okay.
I'm
sorry.
I'm
I thought you were gonna have a second question after it.
Oh,
so, I mean,
I probably
just
phrased it that way out of like in being in a flow state, but I didn't actually have anything else.
No problem. Yeah, cancel culture does not mean that you're gonna disappear. Like you can't just what do you call it? Yeah, isolate the consequences and the sort of fear, quote unquote, that people feel. There might be some technical term about it as well, right? Just down to being like, oh, but at least but they didn't get deplatformed, so it doesn't count. No, it creates a psychological situation, and a collective situation where it genuinely becomes a trigger point. Now you have all these famous people like Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, all those people that Human listed, who are all scared of cancel culture, who actually go on each other's platforms then and come out against cancel culture, and they've created a situation in their bubble. And guess what? The problem is that those people have the platform. Those people have their own platforms as well. So they can use their platform to amplify the effects of cancel culture, even if you believe they are not as strong.
So,
and the people who watch them then believe actually cancel culture is that bad.
Again, we're back to cancel culture is bad because it's having the opposite effect, which is that's kind of a wild thing to say. That's like saying, if you suddenly make it's like saying making murder illegal has increased the number of murders. And I realize murder is a really bombastic example.
In this situation, it would be analogous. Like if there was, for cancel culture, it did actually have the opposite result.
But okay, here's the thing. The example I was trying to make with the murder thing, murder was just the first thing I could come to mind. So say a thing, whatever it is not illegal one day, and then it becomes illegal the next day, but it's still a thing that people are doing, right? So, before it was illegal, there were no instances of it, of people being arrested or convicted for it, because it wasn't illegal. Then the next day it was, and suddenly you see this huge increase in arrests and convictions for this thing because now it's illegal. That is the kind of argument you were trying to make. You were saying that it's not working because the consequence made it more visible. And I'm just the backwards logic that I'm hearing from you on this is really hard to understand, because I'm just this happens anytime you try to hold anyone accountable for something bad that they have done. And now they're everyone is more aware of the bad thing that they've done. And so they'll either slink into the shadows, or if these people have big enough platforms already, they'll use those to create their own counter narrative. So we're back to the fucked if you do, fucked if you don't. I don't.
No, it's not. Okay, so you are on some level.
Dream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all.
I feel like that's a reference to something I don't understand, but
we're having this serious debate, and fuck you, Lethe. So here's the thing: it's not fucked if you do, fucked if you don't. There's different levels of fucked, and yes, I would rather be fucked less if possible. Right now, we are getting fucked more because they still have the platforms, because cancel culture does not actually result in cancellation, but it gives them that victim mentality, which they can spout and create that sort of environment to use against liberal ideas. And second, even if they not only have the actual platforms, they also have alternative platforms. So the actual extremist can even go on the alternative platforms.
All right, so let me ask you this. If you could go back in time 10, 15, 20 years, however far, and do something to stop cancel culture from happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you would stop people from doing to prevent cancel culture from having popped up?
I would like a strong liberal movement that actually condemned cancel culture and did not sort of dilute it by saying, "Oh, it's just consequence culture. Oh, it's just like some liberal folks on Twitter who are just doing this." Even though it's true, I would have liked to see a stronger condemnation back in the day.
Okay, so you wanted a cancel culture for cancel culture, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, if you want to call it that, sure. You can just say like, I disagree.
Mean, that's what you just described. Because like, if you go back in time and you build a
no, it's not going back in time. It's not the same. It's not. I just said if you want to call it that, you can call it that, but it's not that.
Okay, but you just described going back in time and creating a movement which prevented people from saying and doing certain things, or at least attempted to prevent people from saying and doing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
In order,
here's how I would put it. I would say that maybe instead of condemning the people who are trying to cancel, you can just say to people like Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan, or whoever was getting canceled, is that we don't agree with those people who are trying to cancel you. We want you platformed. I think you haven't said anything that bad. Or if you said something bad like 5 years ago, have you changed your opinion now? Things like that. And let's move. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, we are going to cancel the cancelers or something like that. You can just remove that fear. Take away the weapon, or take away that sort of thing that made them utilize cancel culture as a weapon.
So it was... Even if you were to successfully go back in time and stop cancel culture from having developed, what do you expect you would see today that is different and better than what we currently see?
Okay, I would expect, number one, that actual extremist ideas like this fascist guy on Surrounded, like people like Nick Fuentes and all. Like Nick Fuentes' cancellation, by the way, is something I agree with, right? Like that is not a problem. Like we would have some like conservative voices like Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan, and all of them, like probably like Greg Gutfeld, who said, "Oh, what's up, my Nazi?" Like people like that who would, with us, condemn people like who are actual fascists. That's what I would hope. But now, because they see, all of this is just a liberal mentality of canceling anyone who speaks out of line. Oh, guess what? We stand with the fascists. And you know what? Fascist idea are actually something I'll listen to. That's what I would hope. It would be on our side.
I always, I'm always used to being the one that gets called naive, but my God, that is...
Have you been to an alternative universe where this won't happen?
No, but it does seem like an incredibly naive way of thinking.
How can you stand being naive?
The whole idea in the kind of message, the whole point of the kind of messaging that people like Ben Shapiro, like Charlie Kirk, like I can't remember the What Is a Woman documentary guy's name. Their whole thing is to create culture wars. That is their entire bread and butter. That is their entire grift. So
the thing is, I can live with transphobic people in society. I don't like them, but I can live with them. I can live with people who are somewhat racist in my society. I cannot live with fascists who genuinely want to kill people who if you don't agree with them.
You know who can't live with transphobic people in society?
I know trans people, and I would fight for them, but I don't want fascists and conservatives both be against trans people rather than just the fascists. Now I have to fight both the conservatives and the fascists.
See, okay, this is one thing I think we're not realizing is that cancel culture is as much a creation of the right as it is a creation of the left.
Yep.
Every time
100% agree.
And like this goes back to when it was called political correctness. Like this has been a thing that has existed for a long ass time. It was the whole idea that like there are certain ideas that if you express them in society, people are going to get all over your shit for, and probably rightly so. And so what the right did with this is they leaned into it. They leaned into creating these cultural conflicts. A, because it distracted from the more policy-oriented goals that they were actually trying to fight for. And so if we're distracted from the policy goals because we're focused on cultural stuff, then it makes it easier for them to push their shit through, which we are seeing how successful that's been. And B, because they have ways to manipulate the narrative to make themselves look like the victims to the people who are more sympathetic to them in the first place.
Yeah,
so I would argue that
exactly
cancel
what I was saying
culture.
5 minutes ago.
But the thing is, what you're not realizing is they are as responsible, if not more so, for creating the very cancel culture that you are now railing against as the people on the left who started out just trying to keep people accountable and say there are things you can't say without social and cultural repercussions. So it's either we don't give them those repercussions, or when we do, they manipulate it to the extreme and we end up exactly where we were. The thing is, what you're railing against is a product of what is, I think, a very reasonable and understandable cultural and social idea of when you say stupid shit, you should be held accountable for that stupid shit.
It's not as straightforward as you're making it. Okay, I understand there are some ideas that deserve to be canceled. Agreed. And obviously, right wingers definitely wanted to create that victim mentality around their movement so that more people would join it, more people would be sympathetic towards it. I 100% agree. But we, as leftists, right, we sided with the morons who were sort of amplifying this message, who were giving conservatives the ammo to be able to use cancel culture as like a culture war issue, right? We did not condemn them strongly enough. It might have turned out like, dude, I don't know. I'm not like some kind of like Doctor Strange fucking multiverse of madness bullshit that I know for sure this would have happened or not. All I can do is look at the mistakes of the past and come back and say, and to be fair to me, I actually was against cancel culture while it was going on. It's not like some retrospective thing that I'm doing, right? Obviously, one voice can't make that much big of a difference, especially when I don't have an actual platform or anything, right? Yeah, but I at least hope that we would not play into their hands, that we would not now have to not only fight the extremists, the extreme fascists, but also the conservatives who are sympathetic towards the fascists.
And Ginny
I
is
just want to point out that Doctor Strange saw the timelines through the use of the Time Stone. This was before he realized there was a multiverse. Just to clear up that bit of comic book lore.
Oh my god, my entire argument has fallen to the sword of Ancom's thought.
You understand it.
Yeah, I mean, that was always going to happen. And anyways, but no, like, I know you couldn't necessarily have seen the future and that you were going to be against this the whole time. The point that I'm trying to make here is that no matter what you did, as long as there were people who wanted to try and keep these assholes accountable for the shit that they say and do, and make them take certain and make them take certain responsibility and suffer certain consequences for what they said in the social sphere, which obviously, I don't think anyone here is arguing for removing freedom of speech, because neither you nor I would like to see that happen. But I think when we do not have a legal option to deal with this, then we are left with the sociocultural option, which is, as we call it, political correctness or canceling, or I feel like there was a third intermediate term that I just can't think of right now, but it doesn't really matter. The point is that, like, any attempt to hold them accountable, like, the only thing we did wrong there wasn't the attempts to hold them accountable. It's the fact that we didn't do it in a, media savvy way a lot of the time, but like, Okay, that's a criticism I think we can both share on this point. But I think the suggestion that your argumentation implies is that we never should have done it in the first place, or at least we should have well, no, because even if we had,
you should have created a clear separation between even now we find it hard to create selective. Right.
Like even if we had been more selective, I think it would have still ended up in a similar situation.
Sure. I mean, I guess.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I have
What's going on?
I guess my son really, really, really wanted me to join in. No, I have a different point of view. It's similar to ANCOM's, but like I said in chat, ANCOM, you are really over-explaining it and making it more complicated than it needs to be.
I have not been looking at chat in the slightest, so I did not see that.
That's okay. I can't see chat anyway. They can razz me all they want to. Can't see what the fuck they're saying.
It's usually better for my mental health if I don't pay attention to chat when I come on one of these.
Right, because chat is always wrong unless it's me. Anyway.
Fair enough.
So I think the problem is a lot of it, in especially American culture, but definitely Western culture at large, is we lack nuance. It either has to be this or it has to be that. There's like no spectrum in between. So when we say, hey, this guy, like let's say Gamergate, okay, like ignore fucking Zoe Quinn and Brianna Wu's retelling of the story and all that other bullshit. When we say, hey, I'd like to go into a game lobby and not be asked about my tits, it doesn't mean we want all men to stop playing video games ever. It doesn't mean we want men to never, ever, ever look at a woman's tits ever again. It doesn't necessarily mean that we don't want our tits commented on. It's just maybe you, stranger, being a fucking weirdo, need to back off. So when we say, you know, hey, this person said this thing to me and it made me uncomfortable, or this person made this slur in this context and it's not okay, instead of, oh my God, you're canceling them and you want them to never work again and you want them to die poor. No, that's not the case. We want them to, like, maybe shut the fuck up a little bit. And like most
You're right.
of the
I was massively over-explaining it because that is pretty much exactly what I was going for.
Right. And it's like those of us on the left and the far left that have participated a lot in this cancel culture stuff, we're not trying to cancel people. We don't want people to like be without a job. Some people just need to shut the fuck up a little bit. And that's basically it. And no, I do not have any monkeys in my house.
No, just small children which are mentally and physically similar to monkeys.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I'm going to be canceled for that.
A little bit.
I mean, if anything, I just
I'm against Jenny's cancellation if it helps.
I was gonna say, if anything, I'm the one who just compared your children to monkeys. I feel like that's probably cancellation.
Cancel ANCOM. Cancel ANCOM. Oh, you know what? We'll come back 5 years later to this stream and then cancel him. I'll clip it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Love it. I love it. Let's do that. I mean, to be fair, I've said shit on my own stream, and I'm pretty sure those VODs are still around if you know where to look.
You have 5 years to create your alternative platform, ANCOM. For all the ANCOMs.
I mean, to be fair, there already are alternative platforms for the far left people like myself who are skeptical of the big, like, corporate platforms. So,
but do they pay you anything?
No.
Yeah,
we're leftists. We don't believe in money. Are you kidding me?
No. That you're not just a leftist. You're like, what is the fascist equivalent of the far left? I'm joking. You're not.
There isn't one.
So one thing that hasn't been brought up in this conversation is TOS. And when people are saying TOS things, that may get you yeeted off a platform as well. And the fact that they're getting mad that they can't say TOS things or even inkle at TOS things. And
here's the issue with TOS. Here's the issue with TOS. TOSs are written purposely in a vague enough manner where they can be interpreted as good or bad depending on your mood. And that's why, while yes, there are some things that are just black and white, and yeah, they clearly break TOS, but at the end of the day, it's up to the platform. Sometimes platforms like Twitch, even when you break TOS, they still continue to platform you. It's up to the platform whether they want to implement their TOS or not. And even when they do want to implement their TOS, it's just written in such a vague way that they easily can get an out for why one gets canceled while the other doesn't.
You mean lawyers intentionally cast a wide net to protect themselves from legal liability? You don't say.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, for me, that's why I hadn't brought up TOS yet. And again, I would like to emphasize, even if there's a clear black and white situation where TOS has been violated, a platform can just choose not to implement their TOS. They're allowed to do that.
Yes, no one was saying that they weren't.
I'm just explaining why TOS is, in my opinion, maybe it's a little bit of an issue, but largely like a non-issue for the discussion that we just had. Because Leafy wanted to bring
ultimately, like at the end of the day, when people are getting canceled and deplatformed, I'll even just say deplatformed, right? When that happens, it's generally because the platforms have been convinced that the activity or words of the speaker or person that they are removing from their platform is not good for them as an organization, whether that be a university or a private company. This is pretty much always a business decision on the part of the individuals, or on the part of the organizations who have the platform to be given, that allowing this person a platform, they have now been informed by a large enough subset of their typical audience, would not be good for them in either a business or, whatever. For some reason, I can't think of like what the consequences that universities might be avoiding for that are. So, yeah.
And what else I want to add is that 10 years ago, I'll be honest, like, people in general did not have that much of a nuanced look at TOS. Like, you could be banned for like 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, right? But people would use the term banned as in perma-banned, right? And that would obviously, like, they want to play up their cancellation, they want to gain those sympathy points, so they would do that. But yeah, like, audience in general, they did not have that much of a nuanced look. I don't think they even do now.
Well, that's because the word banned, at least back then, I disagree with
a lot of people who are not into, like, who like haven't never watched Destiny or any Twitch stream or understand those TOS terms. Even now, if you just use the word banned, they would probably think perma-banned, even though it was just like a 1 day or 7 day ban.
Because that's not what a ban is. If it's temporary, it is a suspension or something like that. Because the word ban does inherently have a permanence in its connotation that when people use it, they believe it sounds like it means a permanent thing. Right. Whereas if you have been if you've been kicked or you've been suspended, those both have more temporary connotations.
Right, and I would say that suspension has become like a more common term, like, relatively recently. But initially, when, like, from what I remember, like during the 2010s, like, it was just called a 1 day ban, 7 day ban, and now people start using the word suspension more, so that it creates that sort of temporary, permanent.
Yeah, because I think calling a temporary thing a ban just leads to a certain amount of confusion, because that's not how people tend to think of and or use the term. So it makes more sense to change it to suspension. But the semantics of it aside, like, the whole reason that cancel culture tends to work in the first place is because it goes after usually the financial interests of the organization, company, school, whatever, that is being asked to remove that person. So like when, you know, in 2017 during the Charleston, South Carolina march, the Tiki Torch march, you know, a bunch of people got fired because their pictures were put in the newspaper from photographs of them doing that march, and because their companies did not want to be associated with something that had significant fascist overtones, you know, they tended to get fired specifically because the company didn't want any of that backlash on them. It was purely a self-protective measure. And like, that's pretty much what cancel culture always targets, is that self-protective element that businesses have.
Just to back you up, when I hear the word ban, I think of Joshua's genocide of Jericho. Because when he did that, the Bible calls that a ban. He was implementing a ban on Jericho, and that was permanent.
Yeah, it was.
True.
Those guys did not.
Palestinians are getting banned from life.
Well,
yeah,
to be fair, that was a
and their
translation
children
choice,
and their,
but yes,
and their animals and everything. Yeah.
That's pretty mellow.
They were canceled from existence.
Yes, a ban is pretty extreme, at least in the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this all started,
That makes Joshua woke.
Certain people not wearing their masks and their hoods when they went out, you know, screaming people will not replace them.
Oh, by the way, this Bible talk reminds me of one reply. I don't know if NoCal Mike is still in chat, but he put in something like, oh, cancel culture is not something that started with social media. It has always been in the 90s and whatnot. And to that, I would like to reply, I know it's always been in the 90s. There were churches who were coming out against metal and hip hop and all those shit back in the day, and they did not go away. If anything, they gained much more popular support. So I'm
the first time I saw the
I'm reminded of the satanic panic of the 80s. Like that was its own kind of cancel culture.
It was,
yeah,
but I think
that kind of promoted rock more, and like, so that
in terms
kind
of it being called that, the earliest usage I can remember is cancel Colbert, which remember the cancel Colbert movement?
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
He made a joke making fun of racists, but in the process of making fun of racists, he played a character who was racist, and so somebody got offended by that and started the cancel Colbert like hashtag or whatever to get him canceled because
dude, I didn't even touch the canceling your own sides. Like
it was a couple decades late, but they finally succeeded.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I made that joke when he first became the host because this was back in his old show. So when he got promoted to
the Colbert
show,
Report,
they canceled the Colbert Report because, you know, he was leaving to go. And I was like, oh, you finally get what you wanted. But,
as I recall, the Colbert Report had been canceled at least for like a year or two before before it was announced that
he took some time off. It was because of the Late Show that it was canceled.
Oh, okay.
He just took some time off in order to prep for it.
Yeah, Japanese people got suspended. They didn't get fully canceled.
Now I'm sure
they got reparations.
Now I'm sure. Now I'm sure that he'll take a year or two off and before he starts his next venture because, you know,
I'd love for the Colbert Report to come back on. That'd be great.
Yeah, if you can't keep Jon Stewart off the air, you sure as hell can't keep Stephen Colbert off the air.
Yeah, no, but it looks like CBS, because they're being bought by ByteDance, like we're gonna have a right-wing major network now.
It wasn't ByteDance. It was shit. What was it?
No. You're right. It was
Daniel Ellison. It was his company.
Well, no. It was fuck. What was the name of Redstone? Shuri Redstone is the person who owns the company.
I could have sworn I heard that it was because of a merger between Paramount and this other company which was owned by Daniel Ellison, that like needed government approval. That was the link that I had heard.
Yeah, I mean Shuri Redstone is going to own CBS and Viacom, but I forgot the name of her company. Is hold on, maybe it is ByteDance. Well, let me see who it is. But that's why they're also...
Oh, not Daniel, David Ellison.
Of course, they also own Paramount. So that means, you know...
Yeah, Skydance. That's what I was... Yeah, like
Yeah, that's what I said.
Not ByteDance.
Oh, Skydance.
Skydance. Completely different company.
Yeah.
Yeah, founded by David Ellison, the son of Larry Ellison, who are both big friends of Trump, and they are attempting to merge with Paramount Global, which requires
and they're
government.
Right?
I don't know about Skydance as a whole, but I know the Ellisons certainly are.
Yeah, and Sherry Redstone, who's the chairwoman of Paramount Global.
Yeah.
So anyway, that means either we don't get Star Trek in the future because they're canceling everything.
It's no more Star Trek. Oh dear God.
Or it means they're going to start
destroying
more
that
conservative
fucking franchise.
elements. Yeah, can you imagine a right-wing Star Trek? Oh.
So before we get too far into everything, so I'm going to read.
That'll be the day I delete my entire Star Trek collection from my media server. Oh God!
I'm just going to read the
Mr. Spock, genocide that planet.
Oh jeez. Here you go, Zephyr. Deplatforming or banning malicious accounts from social media is a key tool for moderating online harms. However, the consequences of deplatforming for a wider social media ecosystem have been largely overlooked so far. Due to the difficulty of tracking banned users, here we address this gap by studying ban-induced platform migration from Twitter to Getter, with a matched data set of 15 million Getter posts to 12 million Twitter tweets. We show that users active on both platforms post similar content as users active on Getter but banned from Twitter, but the latter have higher retention and are 5 times more active. Our results suggest that the increased Getter use is not associated with a substantial increase in user toxicity over time. In fact, we reveal that matched users are more toxic on Twitter, where they can engage in abusive cross-ideological interactions, than with Getter. Our analysis shows that the matched cohort are ideologically aligned with the far right, and that the ability to interact with the political opponents may be a part of Twitter's appeal to these users. Finally, we identify the structural changes in which Getter network preceding the 2023 Brasilia insurrections, highlighting the risk that poorly regulated social media platforms may pose to democratic life. There you go.
So basically exactly what I said. Like, they're still on the platforms. They've gone and made their own, sure, but like they're not necessarily any more active on these niche platforms than they are on the main ones, largely because they've lost the target of their ire on the niche platform. So they go back to the main platform in order to go hunting, as it were.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they don't have people to scream at, they don't have fun. Kind of like how we end up having people here that we like to go crazy about, and then when they're not here for us to go crazy, we just kind of calm the fuck down.
Yeah, because like eventually, even in a place like fucking Kiwi Farms, where their whole thing is, laughing about lol cows that they pull from other places, like there's only so much entertainment you can get from, collectively laughing at someone who isn't there to defend themselves or even try to fight back, because it's the conflict that tends to be more entertaining than just, poking fun at them when everyone around you is also poking fun at them.
All of a sudden you hear new fish, and then everybody loses their shit, and then they're gone, and they're just looking for the next chew toy.
I don't know what new fish means, but yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I'm sure that the study has a conclusion that may or may not, in some ways, confirm or deny or like oppose what I said. The problem is that in some studies like this, cancellation of like a nobody will be given probably the same weight as a cancellation of a somebody. Right? And the issue is that the cancellation of the somebody, but in the minds of the people, in the mind of the audience, will matter more than the cancellation of the nobody. So I don't know whether it takes that into account. Number two, yeah, I would agree that some of the time that we are just kind of downplaying cancel culture, but you have to trust me, okay? You have to trust me. I can probably give you more specific examples if you are curious, but there have been actually horrific examples, the lengths that people have gone to just to get their moment in sunlight, that I was the one that canceled this particular person, is like just stupid. I'm sure, right? On some levels, it's just evil, right?
Like, yeah, I'm sure people are going out of their way to try and bully others off the internet, but
what I'm saying is,
again,
just,
I don't think that's
a little bit...
I don't think that's an element of cancel culture. I think that's something they use to hide behind, like they do.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Like every time I hear a right winger use something that I would think sounds like a leftist talking point, they're almost always co-opting it in the wrong way, like or corrupting the meaning that when used by a leftist it would tend to mean. But like they're still using that talking point to some effect, and it's like it would be like blaming the leftist just because the right winger co-opted one of the talking points for some nefarious reason.
Yeah, we can't do foreign aid. Foreign aid's bad because we need that money to take care of the homeless in America. In the meantime, they don't support helping the homeless in America in any way.
True.
Yeah.
But they'll co-opt that talking point to stop foreign aid.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I guess my primary point is, right? That sure, we can go into studies and data and all of that, but we have to tackle something that is being utilized as a cultural weapon. We have to meet that on a cultural level as well, right? We cannot use studies to destroy.
No.
Like
the studies are just to show that like the argument you're making against cancel culture doesn't really stand up to scrutiny, and then we need to.
No,
ultimately, what we need to do is find a way to combat.
Hang on, it does. It's not about the study. There's a whole middle part that you skipped over, which is how that cancel culture is used as a weapon and to gain sympathy points.
Yes, and I was about to address that, and you cut me off. The point is, it's not that we need to, or the problem is not with cancel culture itself. It's with the ways that it is co-opted by those with nefarious intent who want to use it for their own means, just to get rid of someone who disagrees with them or someone they don't like, rather than someone who is actively causing harm within a community. And like this has been true for as long as this sort of rhetorical battle has been taking place. Hell, I'm sure you could find examples going back to fucking Cicero and Julius Caesar in the fucking Roman Senate. Like, they did this shit thousands of years ago. We're just giving it new names today.
Wait, I don't think this is something that, even if it's happening from thousands of years ago, should be just accepted.
I'm not saying it should either. My point is,
it was always cancel culture. This is literally what I mean by downplaying cancel culture. You acknowledge it happens, but then you say, "Oh, it's happening from thousands of years ago," in an attempt to make it, "Oh, we're still alive," right?
You misunderstand what I'm saying. I was saying that the misuse of rhetorical methods to try and get rid of someone we don't like is something we've been trying to figure out and get rid of for thousands of years, and we're still struggling with it. I'm not trying to downplay anything. I'm trying to show the scope of the problem that you are wanting a solution to, and the fact that it's actually incredibly hard, because no matter what you do, people with certain rhetorical skills will always be able to twist words with decent, like, will be able to twist words that were said out of a positive intent into something negative. Like, the question is, how do you stop people from being able to twist words in such a way that they cannot be taken out of their intended usage? I don't think that's possible. I think you are asking for us to turn coal into diamond with our fucking hands. I don't think it's going to happen.
Here's a straightforward question: What would it take for that fascist who wants to raise money? What would it take for him to basically be disappear from society without actual violence? Like, what would it take for him to never be platformed, not get a job? Essentially, like, do all of that. Like, he never has any sort of social media attention. Right now, he has an alternative platform where he can raise 30. He's probably already raised like 45K. He'll probably raise upwards of 100K by the end. By all of this is over.
You have to do one thing. You have to convince every single person who could possibly support him in that way to not support him. That is what you would have to do.
Sure. I would suggest an alternative method. Maybe, what if that website where he's raising money never existed? Because then Patreon wouldn't support him. Like, GoFundMe wouldn't support him. Right now,
there are enough wealthy people with enough power and enough sympathy.
If he went and begged them and got donation out of it, then sure. Like, I cannot prevent that. I'm just saying, I wish that he wouldn't be platformed.
I'm saying to start up another website like this. The reason websites like Gibson Go exist is because the other platforms that would normally do this service don't want people like him on it because it's bad for their business model. And so someone who has a lot of money and doesn't care about the business model as much, they can weather those storms as much as they need to. Build another platform like Gibson Go to give them that place to go to in the first place. That's why I'm saying, in order to actually remove someone like that from public life entirely, you have to convince every person with whom they could possibly interact to not support them. They have too many sympathizers right now.
Do you think it would be a good business model to create a website and a platform like that for one grievance? Clearly, there's enough grievances that a website like that was seen as an endeavor worth taking.
Yes, but like, as long as there are, more than a teeny tiny handful of people like that who would have those grievances, there's gonna be a market for that.
I don't think that someone would create a website like that for like 5 people.
That's why I said more than a teeny tiny handful. 5 people,
yeah, sure.
Handful. 20 people, teeny tiny handful.
Yeah,
once you
more
get
than
to
20.
above 100 or 1,000, yeah, it starts to become a market.
The problem is that 100 people who if they're all fascists, then sure, remove them. But I doubt that all of those 100 people went through this similar issue where they were all came out as fascists and still found a platform to get money.
How many people do you think have been canceled for being fascist or being deeply related to some heavy fascist movement in the past 10 years?
That guy the other day from Mehdi Hassan's debate.
That's exactly what we're kind of talking about.
Yes, but the point that I'm making is, if I took every single person that marched with a tiki torch yelling "Jews will not replace us" in 2017 in Charlottesville or in Charlotte, South Carolina, and then I want to say it was several thousand people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and a dozen other much smaller things in between that, I would estimate you would be left with at least a few thousand people, and those are just the ones who actively took action in support of that, not talking about any of the ones who are
hang on.
Who are less outspoken about their beliefs, but probably have still said some shit.
Hang on. I think there's some misunderstanding here. Okay. I want people who are fascist to be deplatformed. I want them to. The issue is, I want normal, like, quote unquote centrist conservatives, right, or slightly right leaning people to be with us in deplatforming those fascists. Right now, because of the issues that we've discussed, in my opinion, it seems that the right-leaning people and conservatives, right-leaning, whatever, they're actually in support of the fascists because of the situation that we've created with cancel culture being a factor of being a part of it. I feel like had we been more selective and condemnatory of cancel culture shame, you want to call it shaming or whatever. I'm talking in the social media era. Had we been a little bit more careful with that tool, I think we could have prevented fascism gaining such a strong foothold. Maybe Trump would have still gotten elected. Maybe Jan 6 still would have happened. But I would have hoped that when the black and white case like this happens, that everybody, we could all condemn it together as Americans.
We can all condemn together.
Yeah, I don't think that is a realistic view. I think this was probably always going to happen, regardless how we on the left reacted to it. Because this is the ebb and flow of fascism, right? You look at Mussolini's fascist party and Hitler's Nazi party in the 30s, and both of these were very small movements which were condemned in in relatively chill ways. They weren't doing the kind of cancel culture that we have now. By any means, they didn't have the fucking social media reach to do that, and yet they still managed to come to power and draw a lot of more moderate conservatives over to their cause regardless. So I don't know. I don't think the hypothetical you're envisioning is realistic. But I'm sure Rabbit has things to say.
Like what?
I don't know. I assumed you'd been listening to the conversation and wanted to come in to defend your conservative brethren.
Why do you assume I'm conservative? I'm probably left of you on some issues.
On some issues, maybe, but you've always
canceled. No, you're canceled.
No, you're conservative.
I'm a Canadian conservative, which means I'm left of American Democrats.
He's almost an ANCOM, you can say.
I mean, no, he's nowhere near a communist of any variety. So yes, you are left.
My family left the communists. Thank you. Because kept killing us.
You're left of Democrats because Democrats are left. That's not hard to be in a country with fairly widely supported universal health care versus a party that won't even fucking consider it.
Yeah, even the conservatives here support healthcare.
Exactly.
The battle is whether there should be another layer above for people who want to also pay for healthcare as well.
Yeah, which even with my political leanings, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I think it's a little scummy, but I'd rather not see it than see it. But I'm probably not going to get pissed off so long as the regular everyone gets healthcare doesn't get touched, and if they're privately funding that shit, then okay, I don't think having more money should entitle you to more healthcare. But if you want to get your tummy tucks and your Brazilian butt lifts or whatever, go for it.
Well, I don't want to progress too far into this because I will want to speak to the cancel culture side of thing. But what I'll say in response to that is I think if a nation feels that healthcare is so important that the nation should pay for it together, it should also be important enough that an individual can spend their individual wealth on it, the health of their family and themselves, without having to leave to go to the United States. But I do agree.
I don't think they have
to. The danger is diluting the main system, and I agree that you would have to have safeguards in place to ensure that basic communal system is not eroded and detracted from because you're also offering additional private services for people who want to spend more on it.
But the thing is, I don't think the wealthy people are having to come to the United States to get the health care for them and their family. It's just they have to do it so they don't have to stand in the same line as everyone else.
No, there's some services that aren't available because they're only available in the United States, and there are some things where you also have to stand in line.
Can you give me an example of this?
They can go to Mexico.
There are treatments available in like Germany and the United States. There's some stem cell type stuff. There's specific medications that aren't available in Canada that are available elsewhere, et cetera, et cetera. We could totally have a conversation about this later.
I would love to have a conversation about it another time, because like I would be interested to learn like what procedures and medications aren't available. Like, are they life-saving procedures and medications that just hadn't been approved in Canada? But we'll take that discussion offline.
I'd love to be more prepared for that, right? Because I can.
I hate the fact that I talk like a corporate goon saying shit like we'll take that conversation offline.
I am a
fucking hell.
So don't worry.
We've come full circle, people, and I'm gonna run out soon. So, any last thoughts?
Well, what I'd like to say on the cancel culture side of thing, listening to this, and I am more sympathetic to Zephyr's position in some ways, and I think part of it is because some of the criticism surrounds just the cases that are being discussed. You know, they're just the higher ones. There's a lot of smaller people that don't have the ability to recover from being canceled on the same level as some of these higher media personalities and whatnot. There's like your corporate schmucks and people that say the wrong thing on Facebook or things like that that just aren't getting anything close to their previous job back. And the other part was that I'd mentioned some stuff about gun control, right? Where you're basically saying, oh, cancel culture isn't the problem. It's people not using it right. It's like guns aren't the problem. It's people not using guns right. We don't need gun control. We need people control. And I think we have to look at kind of to your point there, though, is
to be fair, I am one of the pro-gun leftists, so that argument doesn't really work well.
Well, I like guns too, but I think there should be gun control. But
yeah,
but
same
all
here.
I
Like,
say
I
is
think it
that
makes sense to have certain limitations.
it's not just fascists getting canceled, and one of the issues with how people use cancel culture is it's forcing companies and these parties that you know their own fiscal health relies on public sentiment to take action, and I think sometimes disproportionate action on speech and acts that people commit because they personally feel that it is, you know, they don't like it, but it is disproportionate to what the public would consider the slight of any that were given.
Oftentimes, it's not even what the person said. It's just they don't want the heat on social media, so they'll just fire the person. Even though
they'll err on the side of caution.
They'll
even
err
though
on the
what
side
was
of caution
said wasn't that
because
incendiary.
It's not even necessarily the heat on social media that just exacerbates the problem. It's the fact
that heat's
that, like,
real, bro.
If customers or the people from whom they get their money get wind of like this person's views, they will, you know, they will vote with their dollar and not work at this company because this company has now tacitly supported you know, that speech. And like that's just the capitalist model of you know, voting with your dollar. That's so like
okay,
if you're gonna be a capitalist, you gotta support this shit.
On some level, I would find it extremely weird that, oh, I would not support this company because one of their employees had a political belief that I disagreed with.
I mean, that shit happens a lot.
I mean, sure, if you want to go through that extent, I mean, it's a free country, you're allowed to do that, but it definitely is extremely weird that you're like, hey, I really need this one thing which I can get at this store, but you know what? They hired this person who said some weird thing on Twitter 5 years ago, so I'm not going to buy it from their company.
Since
and not only
that weren't customers in the first place, nor were they ever intending to be.
Yeah, and not only that, I'm going to go on harass this company on Twitter to fire this employee.
If he's an active fascist, that's a little bit different, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm not
if there's like a black and white issue,
like a Nazi, like
if there's like an actual Nazi or fascist, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that one was a pretty easy. That was a layup, right? It was pretty easy to fire that guy. Like, I don't think there's any
that guy's
pressure.
cancellation I agree with. I just hope that, we would have more people on our side and in condemning that person and deplatforming. But right now it seems
that's just an assets versus liability calculation on the part of the business owner. Is keeping this person on a greater liability than they are an asset? And like,
do you think people should do that with identity? Like, should they decide whether keeping someone on their payroll because they're trans?
I want to point out that I'm not saying they should or should not do this. I'm just saying this is what the capitalist work model leads to.
So you're saying, well, that's just the way capitalism works. Oh.
I'm saying that's the way capitalism works, and if you want to get away from it, go with the socialist model instead. Worker-owned businesses.
I think we should go with the Lethe model. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I'm pretty sure Lethe supports. Lethe supports the worker-owned business model that I've described to him. So something.
Lethe told me. Lethe told me in a private chat that he was a communist. So,
if that were true, I would be ecstatic. But as I know he loves his PlayStation 2 goddamn much, I know he is not in fact a communist.
I mean, I would be.
Yo, Lethe.
See, this is.
6.
Yeah, this is the problem with trying to accuse someone of being a communist with someone else who is an actual communist in the room. It doesn't work.
I think Rob Noor is a communist, but that's just me.
I could only hope. I would love to have his rhetorical flourishes on my side.
Anyways, I just wanted to come in and say hi, Lethe, and say hi to everybody before I get off for the night.
Hello, Doghouse.
So we're gonna raid into Ice Beans. I hope everybody had fun.
What?
Next one will be longer.
You normally go way later than this, I thought.
Huh?
I'm canceling Lethe in 2027.
Usually.
Or I guess you just mean
I gotta get up. Yeah, I'm gonna chill for a little bit, but I gotta sleep earlier tonight because I got some things to do tomorrow. So yeah, for sure.
All right, have a good one, Lethe.
And hit the raid. Everybody, thank you for being here. It's been a blast. Chat, as always. You win again, and Zephyr has taken his final L for the evening. So, night, y'all.